In August 2016, Seisen International School's mission statement was changed to include an explicit expression of our commitment to providing a safe environment for our students. We have always had a moral obligation as a school, as an international school, and as a Catholic international school to safeguard the students in our care. We are also now required to have a policy in place by the Council of International Schools and the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, the two accrediting bodies connected to our school. In May 2014, the Association of International Schools in Africa produced a highly lauded child protection handbook and has given permission for it to be duplicated and customized in schools around the world. Schools in different regions have studied the document and are very appreciative of the opportunity to use some of the practice held therein. In the academic year 2015-2016, the Japan Council of International Schools has declared a priority the establishment of child protection and student safeguarding policies in its member schools. A workshop was hosted for admin teams in September 2015, focusing on policies and the May 2014 handbook produced in Africa and how it could be customized for the international schools in Japan. As a result, a handbook has been designed with resources for admin teams to structure their policies. Resources from the legal, medical and psychiatric fields to help schools establish external multidisciplinary teams for case handling, investigation in our cultural context and host country has also been established. And there have been recommendations for guest speakers and training teams for schools. The International Task Force on Child Protection, headed by Jane Larson from the Council of International Schools, has made great strides in child protection and student safeguarding and published a report in June of 2016. In association with the International Centre for Missing and Exploited Children, a website has been launched containing an educational portal with resources and a confidential advice centre for schools if abuse is suspected or detected. And I invite the parent community to have a look at the ICMEC website and look at that portal. A recommendation has been made that all schools have a code of conduct as a reference point to change school culture in detecting and reporting abuse. As I mentioned, accreditation and inspection agencies have agreed on recommendations to enhance child protection. The recommendations are fully aligned with the value statements contained within the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child. There are 13 essential questions to be addressed by schools in connection to child safeguarding, and 18 essential elements that schools are strongly encouraged to adopt, and these were published in November. These too can be viewed on the website. There are now essential recruiting practices recommended when recruiting, screening, and assessing candidates. As all other international schools, Seisen needs to have a statement of commitment to safer recruitment practices. This statement of commitment can be found on our employment page and on any documentation for employment at Seisen International School. It reads as follows: aligned with the recommendation of the International Force on Child Protection, we hold ourselves to a high standard of effective recruiting practices with specific attention to child protection. Interpol has also become involved, and now Interpol has launched an initiative to create one police certificate which would reflect criminal background checks in all 190 member countries. Professional development is key, and there are many leadership certifications now available to international school teachers and admin teams. At Seisen, we are pursuing the International Child Protection Leadership Team certification, and in July 2016, 2 members of our admin team attended the Association for the Advancement of International Education training sessions. This was the first ever training session on child protection for international schools. Each international school is supposed to have a safeguarding handbook. The contents of the handbook are as follows: guidelines given to all schools as regards handbook content, statement on student safeguarding, definitions of abuse, indicators of abuse, signs and potential offenders. Each handbook should contain a code of conduct and an acknowledgement of code of conduct to be signed off by all staff members. Child protection teams and the roles and responsibilities contained therein in those teams are explained. Guidelines and reporting are outlined, and recruitment practices are also outlined, as also are review practices. The Code of Conduct for our faculty and staff has as its purpose to provide clear expectations to all our employees and volunteers who represent the school and who interact with the students. Please note that this also includes externally hired coaches, teaching assistants employed by parents for students with special needs, in both direct or unsupervised capacity. In our Code of Conduct, the areas that are covered are communication with students, social media, guardianship, day-to-day interactions, field trips, use of alcohol, tobacco products and other drugs, and the reporting of abuse or suspicion of abuse. Now at Seisen International School we have mandatory reporting. It is obligatory for faculty, staff and administrators to report incidents of physical or psychological violence, aggression, harassment and physical or sexual abuse immediately or within the next school day to a school counsellor, who in turn shall inform the principal and head of school. Mandatory reporting. The counsellor shall gather information and provide further written documentation, including the date, person or persons involved, and any relevant information. If there is reasonable cause to believe child abuse has occurred, as defined within this document, the counsellor will report to the principal, who shall follow the steps noted in the guidelines, documenting all aspects of the investigation and resulting actions. The head of school will be informed at all stages by the principal and/or counsellor. The members of the school child protection team or student safeguarding team are made up of the following personnel: a designated child protection officer or CPO, currently that is the head of school, school division counsellor, school nurse, division principal or assistant principal. The head of school remains a member of the team if a CPO is designated. External multidisciplinary teams are core to a student safeguarding policy. Upon the recommendation of the Japan Council of International Schools, these teams are made up of legal representatives, medical representatives, psychiatric representatives, child protection service representatives, all recommended by the Japan Council of International Schools. In our recruitment practices at Seisen International School, we have aligned ourselves with the recommendations of the International Task Force on Child Protection. When we recruit, Seisen International School will perform live contact reference checks of at least 2 references, perform 1 reference check from the direct supervisor of a candidate, contact all references through business email or business phone numbers, verify credentials, conduct internet checks of all prospective employees, require police background checks, review and update recruitment practices as per the task force recommendation requirements or accreditation requirements. We are committed to training our faculty and staff in student safeguarding and to training designated faculty for specific roles in the student safeguarding team. The school year 2016-2017 will be used to provide some training and research on best training practices, recommended trainers and review of training. In August of next year, during orientation, there will be a full staff and faculty training by Mr. Tim Garish, OBE, who is a recommended trainer by the Council of International Schools. The policy is a living document, and we are committed to a yearly review of our student safeguarding practices and policy to determine effectiveness and relevance. Input from faculty and staff will be welcomed. On August 17th, this slideshow was presented to our faculty. We asked them to review the policy and to sign off on their commitment to student safeguarding. Any faculty member refusing to sign was required to meet with the head of school and a divisional principal if faculty member requested to discuss their concerns. Please note that all teachers signed off on our policy.